watching Shalom TV, celebrating Jewish culture. Funding for Shalom TV has been provided by the following. And by viewers like you.
One of the most troubling, revealing byproducts of Israel's actions on the Mavi Marmara, the Turkish ship which tried to run the Israeli blockade of Gaza, where Turkish terrorists viciously attacked Israeli Navy SEALs, resulting in 9 deaths when Israelis fired in self-defense. Most troubling has been the vitriol of anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, and many would argue veiled anti-Semitic statements that have erupted in the European media and sadly among some on the American scene as well. And I stress the word some because outside of the media, Americans in general, and certainly the American Congress, has been staunchly supportive of Israel's right of self-defense. But there are some, even in our own country, who come out with extreme, hideous things to say about the Jewish state. Perhaps the person who most typifies this anti-Israel bias is Helen Thomas, who for years was virtually revered as the grande dame, the dean of the White House press corps, a liberal member of the media whom we've watched for decades, sparring with John Kennedy, pressing Richard Nixon, often given the honor of the first or last question at White House press briefings. But now Helen Thomas crossed way over the line. At a press briefing, she refused to accept Press Secretary Robert Gibbs' description of the Obama administration's initial response to the Mavi Marmara, using extreme language to castigate Israel's actions.
Her initial reaction to this flotilla massacre, deliberate massacre, an international crime, was pitiful. What do you mean you regret when something should be so strongly condemned? And if any other nation in the world had done it, we would have been up in arms. Well, what is this sacrosanct ironclad relationship where a country that deliberately kills people and boycotts, and we aid and abet the boycott?
And then, when questioned in front of the White House itself, Ms. Thomas, who is the daughter of Christian Lebanese parents who were born in Lebanon, made it clear to everyone of the depths of her anti-Israel bias.
Any comments on Israel? We're asking everybody today. Any comments
Tell them
on
to
Israel?
get the hell out of Palestine.
Ooh. Any better comments than that?
Helen is one. Remember, these people are occupied, and it's their land. It's not German, it's not Poland.
So where should they go? What should they do?
They go home.
Where's the home?
Poland.
So the Jews,
Germany.
The Jews go back to Poland and Germany.
And America and everywhere else.
So as far as Helen Thomas is concerned, Jews should go home to Poland and Germany and even home to the United States. In other words, to wherever they came from. Because Jews don't belong in Israel or in any part of Palestine. By the way, I'm sure you know by now that Ms. Thomas lost her position as a member of the White House press corps. In America, it remains, and hopefully will forever remain, unacceptable to speak with such anti-Semitic venom. And if there are those of you who saw Helen Thomas as a champion of the left, it should raise some troubling questions about the far left agenda. In any case, there was a man's voice you heard asking Helen Thomas about her feelings for Israel, and that voice belongs to Rabbi David Nesenoff, the founder of RabbiLive.com. David Nesenoff is also a filmmaker, and his films have been shown at the Sundance Film Festival and at numerous Jewish film festivals, winning first prize at the Chicago International Film Festival. And he's won the Humanitarian Award at the Long Island Film Festival. And David made a big splash on his one and only day as a reporter at the White House by speaking with Helen Thomas. And David Nesenoff, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. David, how in the world did that video come to be?
Well, first I had to come to be at the White House.
Yes, how was that?
How does this kid come to be at the White House? Because I wasn't invited by the president. I was there as press for RabbiLive.com. But
for a specific event?
For the Jewish Heritage Day taking place. I had asked a question to a number of people. As RabbiLive.com, I wanted to ask people for a segment that's called Israel Breathes. And basically my question that I wanted to accumulate was snippets of different people, sound bites of people just saying something about Israel. I had asked, by the end of the day, I had asked Major Garrett from Fox News. I asked the Jewish boxer. I asked the football player, the religious football player from the NFL. I asked a few rabbis the same question. So Harold Kushner was there, Rabbi Kushner from When Bad Things Happen. I asked him the question. And sure enough, here, I'm walking this way and Miss Thomas is walking this way. And I said to the boys, the two teenagers, oh, this is a very famous person. You know, very excited. I said, you should meet, you know, you're young journalists, you're going to meet the grand dame, you know, the dean of journalism. So we stopped and said hello. And actually, I released just recently on RabbiLive.com the full interview I had with her. First, I had released this small part. But you see how we actually said hello and had pleasantries. And she mentioned something about journalism. And then I decided to ask her the same question I asked everybody. It was a very specific question. It really wasn't. It was very broad. And it was, you know, and I don't want to say it wrong. You could watch it. But it was something like, you know, tell me about Israel. What do you want to say about Israel? Or say something about Israel. Whatever it is. Just, you know, it was almost Israel in a grunt. Like you can fill in the blanks. And it didn't take more than a second, you know, for her to come out with her comments, as you said, you know, she said. And saying it so matter-of-factly, so mainstream, so smilingly, you know, it's like almost like saying the F you and giving someone the finger and, you know, doing all that with happiness. And it was shocking.
But you sound surprised on the video.
I have to tell you,
and you say to her, almost like, well, do you mean it? I mean, that was the sense of it.
Actually, what I said was, the first thing I said was, ooh. Okay, ooh. All right? And I'm writing about this now, and it's really the ooh heard around the world. And that ooh represented something deep inside me.
Good for you.
You know, it was ooh. Because...
it was like she hit you.
You know, it changed my life. The ooh hit me.
It changed your life. What do you mean, David?
I've been trying to grapple with Israel and its existence and what's going on and all the problems. And is it, you know, how do we prove Israel? You know, it's a state. It was a state from the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. You know, it's been a growing a life to become a state. It's been, you know, it's been getting to that point, and it's all about, you know, the statehood. Israel is real. And I realized that I love Israel, and I'm not Israeli. I'm a Jew. Israel is about the Jewish people in Israel together. And that ooh that came out, it was almost a primal, it was a shofar, a tekiah that came out of me. Ooh! And it was the fact that she was saying that the Jew and Israel have nothing to do with each other. I mean, I'll say it this way. Every Bible and every Holiday Inn across this country, in that drawer, if you open it up, the Jew and Israel is one. It's a unique relationship because it's a religion and a country. It's confusing, but it's okay. We can get over that confusion. But it's a very unique relationship that everybody, you can argue over Gaza, you can argue over Golan if you want, Jenin, you can argue over some border in the Sinai, you can, whatever you want to do, you can have the blockade. We can have discussions on that. There will be discussions. You can argue over Yerushalayim if somebody wants to argue over Jerusalem. But now we've stepped back, and this person, along with other people in this country and around the world, are actually questioning that the Jew and Israel do not have a connection. And that's ooh.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't about Israel, incidentally, David. It was about Palestine. Jews had no business in Palestine. That was her thinking.
Well, she erased Jew and she erased Israel. She erased both of them.
That's correct.
And go back to where? Go back to Poland and Germany. Okay, now.
And then you said, you pressed her,
Poland,
and she throws in the United States.
Yeah, and by the way, now there's commentary, there's Rashi on all this. Someone said to me that they understood very clearly that maybe at that point, she realized, Poland, Germany. I'm quickly going to backstep and say, oh, and Israel and everywhere else. Yeah, and the United States, and everywhere else. That she decided to just kind of backpedal. And so, because if you just say Poland and Germany, it's very clear that, they heard me say, did I say that aloud? Did I say that aloud? And because the last time we were in Poland and Germany, they were also trying to cleanse us out of the country. We'll cleanse you out of this territory. Ari Fleischer actually had said this, and I developed a relationship with him in a week now. And he's, they're cleansing, they want a group of people to be cleansed from a territory. Okay, that's obscene. And then, of course, I add, and send them back to the country where they started the cleansing process.
Germany.
Right. Poland.
Right.
Last time my relatives were there, they were gassed, they were buried in Babi Yar, they were drowned, they were shot. I would love to go back to the Shtetlach. If they were there, where are the Shtetlach? Show me them. But of course, even if I went back to the Shtetlach, I still would have a yearning for Israel. Mm-hmm. Because Israel is not some friend of the Jew. It's not a friend that I haven't seen you in a while, maybe we're still friends, maybe we're not. We're children of Israel. And even if we're away for a little while, diaspora here or there, if we're away, in Golos, if we're away in the United States, okay, we're still related, and it's still ours. And there have been times when the Jews have lived there, there have been times when they've been exiled from there. But just because they might have been exiled for a while, it didn't mean that wasn't their Israel. And throughout history, one of the problems is that Israel has such a rich history and it's such a long history that, for someone to learn it, when you say, I asked her, do you know the history there? And, because to learn the history, it's not so easy. Say, the history of, someplace that's only alive like the United States, for a short period of time. Oh, yeah, I know the history. We're going to learn it. To learn the history of Israel, you could spend a lifetime learning that history. And it's complex. And so it's difficult. But don't deny me that Israel has nothing to do with me. And now we have people stepping in because now it's become almost not, I won't say mainstream America, but it's too mainstream for my taste that people walk around saying, well, what she said was just her opinion. Saying F you to someone is not an opinion, it's vulgarity. Mm-hmm. And saying...
are you saying to me that you have met people who sort of are not bothered by what she said?
Oh, well, this country has been vocal afterwards. And look, let's start with the fact that press secretaries, past and present, find it offensive and find it unacceptable. The president, in his very subtle way, has said this is not good. We've found that members of Congress and the Senate, so certainly established politicians have said it, and people throughout the country, but there are still people in the world and in the country who say, well, they really shouldn't be there. That was just given to them because they felt sorry for them after the Holocaust.
Who says that in this country?
Oh, there's a sub-media that says that.
A sub-media.
I'll call it a sub-media.
What do you mean?
There are blogs and people that get sub is, they're in blogs. There's a lot of different blog groups.
Yeah.
Okay, which is very powerful because a lot of the media gets their information from them. Okay, that's where they fish around finding it. And they feel their agenda is just to be hurtful, okay? And they find things and they want to go ahead and put things out there just to push their little agenda to go and hurt. And And I found that, there are certain people that don't cover the story for a week. This story, you don't want to cover it? That someone said Israel doesn't exist?
Who didn't cover it?
Newsday didn't cover it. I'm a Long Islander. Okay, Long Island boy goes down there. I mean, if I played in the World Series, maybe they would say, "Hey, Long Island, they went to the Olympics." Okay, they didn't even cover the story.
What did the major networks do?
Fox and Friends had me on immediately. They found this to be an interesting story. They didn't blame me for anything. I'm this reporter for all of 2 hours, and they didn't think I took away her freedom of speech. How can I take away her freedom of speech when I'm asking her to speak on camera?
Did someone suggest you did?
Oh, you have blogs. You have people on television saying they took away her freedom of speech.
Who on television
I think Rosie
said it?
O'Donnell mentioned it. And
Really?
And people. There's a tape of Jews for Helen Thomas standing in front of the White House protesting. Okay, they're taking away her freedom of speech. Now, if you noticed also, it was a real close-up shot of her.
Yes, it was.
To get a close-up shot like that, the camera's not over here. It's in your face.
Right.
Now, the reason being because the sound, you have to get
Yes, I
sound. We have
understand.
microphone. So with my mazel, the first day on the job here, trying to interview somebody, the lawnmower starts going. They decide to cut the lawn on Jewish Heritage Day. I don't know, maybe Michelle said, the place looks a mess. You're having the Jews come over. Would someone do something with the lawn? So they start cutting the lawn while I'm doing this. And I'm like, oh.
Right.
So I move it closer to her and closer to her. Now, of course, there are people in blogs saying, he did it on purpose to make her not look nice. I have nothing to do with any of that. I mean, he did it. There's special software they have now in editing that can make something closer.
Amazing.
All these things. They said that I waited a
Amazing.
week to put it out because I knew the flotilla was happening, and I wanted to put this on after the flotilla. Yada yada. I'm some part of Mossad. Okay. That I wanted to. Why would I wait a week?
Why did you wait a week?
Well, it's really one reason, but I'll give you two. The first thing is when I came back and I showed it to somebody in the Jewish press region.
Yes.
Okay. They said, this is nothing. Old news.
No.
Old news.
Oh, no.
And I think about it. I didn't show it. I said what it was. I just said the quote. Okay, because I want to make that distinction. I think video is very powerful. So he said, it's nothing. This is old news. So I thought I had something here of interest. I don't know. I guess I don't know. But I was going to put it on.
Yeah.
Because
you didn't rush.
Because it was an ooh to me.
Right.
But I did rush. But my webmaster is my son. Okay? And May, June, we're in finals week.
Yeah, he's got a life.
He's got finals.
Yeah.
So every night I would say to him, tonight, and he'd say, no, whatever. Then there's a driver ed test. I don't know. So finally, that Thursday night, June 3rd.
Oh, this is terrific. This is how things really work in life.
Yeah, but that's where the conspiracy stuff comes
It's not so much a conspiracy by you. It just took time for you to get your son to get it up on the net.
My wife has a list of things for me to do also. She doesn't think I'm Mossad. So finally we put we put it up, and we put it up June 3rd at night. June 4th, we sent it out. We sent it out to little places. I don't have a list of. I sent it to the measly morsels of people I had, okay. And by Motzei Shabbos, Saturday night, there were over 700,000 people that watched it, and by Sunday, we were in the millions. Okay, it touched the nerve. It was ooh.
It was ooh to everybody.
It was ooh to everybody.
Yes. My producer, Alan Ulrich, calls me on the phone in my office and says, I got to tell you what Helen Thomas says. And it was an ooh to me. I couldn't believe it. And by the way, how comfortable she was saying it to you.
I'll mention that to you. This is where the mainstream comes in. That's the scary part. Look, if it was Helen Thomas, one person who's only been there 60 years with 10 presidents and reporting to the world, okay, her opinion for us to listen to, that wouldn't be such a big deal. Okay? It's worse than that. It's a mainstream feeling of people that are anti-Semitic in a very different way than years ago. When someone would throw a rock at the window and run away. Somebody would make a nasty note, KKK, Nazi, whatever it is, and they'd throw it on the lawn, and you would never know who published it, where it came from, or what. Okay. I received 25,000. I'm probably up to 30,000 because we've been here for a little while. But as we're talking, it's coming in. Okay. And by the way, on RabbiLive.com, we have them up there. along with the video of her. We now put some of the hate mail up.
You're getting hate mail, aren't you?
25,000 emails of hate mail.
And when I say hate mail, it's hate mail.
It's not an opinion. It's not, I don't feel that. It is vile. It goes to the very root of anti-Semitism and hate. And by the way, this is the point. They give me their email. They write their name. They give me their telephone and fax number. They say, I'm across the street from a UJA Federation building or something like that. They'll give me directions, so I shouldn't get lost. Okay, I'm waiting that they're going to send me a card for the holidays, but it's still very scary.
What do they say?
Well, I couldn't bring all 25,000, but I grabbed some.
Read to me.
Sure. It says, Helen is right and does not owe anyone an apology, all you effing Jews. And by the way,
Don't say effing. If it's there, I want to hear it.
Helen is right and does not owe anyone an apology, all you fucking Jews are a murdering, thieving, land-grabbing pieces of fucking shit, you motherfuckers. All you assholes need to back into the gas chambers and die. And I apologize for saying those words, but on my website, I don't censor it either because it's so offensive. It's offensive for me to say it, but we have to hear it.
Absolutely.
We have to hear it. Not F dash dash. We have to hear what it sounds like for these people, what they say.
Now, how typical is that?
And that's from Nasser. Thank you, Nasser.
How typical is that?
This one here.
How typical is the one you just read?
They're that and worse. We're going to get you like we've gotten all the other leaders. Watch your back.
Is your sense these are all from Americans?
There's a great deal of Americans. One guy, he signed it, and he's a real estate appraiser. We had the name of his company, the logo. Well, I mean, is this his new mantra? Is this the new tag, phrase? I couldn't believe they're denying that whole Jew in Israel. They're denying the existence of the Jew.
But it's worse than that. It is anti-Semitic, directed at an individual Jew, and it goes beyond Israel. We want to hurt you.
Well, the only way to win the Israel argument is, since Israel is tied to the Jew and the Jew is tied to Israel, we have to get rid of the Jew part, because if you don't get rid of the Jew part, okay, it's like peanut butter and jelly. We got to get rid of the Jew part. And the only get rid of the Jew part is they have to die. So when I call up the police, when I call up law enforcement and say, I'd like to report that this was sent to me, death threat, okay, but now I'd like to know, now that we reported this, who do I call for the other death threat? Which death threat? Who do I call for the death threat against the Jewish people? Who do we call for that?
But did you call the police?
We're in touch with the police.
David, did you call the police?
I called the police. Listen, I called up Anti-Defamation League, and they were helpful. I called up the police. In
your town or what?
I called the police in the town. I'm not discussing,
were they responsive?
I am not discussing anything about security. I'm not discussing anything about security.
Okay, but were they responsive? They take you seriously or they poo-poo you?
No. Everyone takes it very seriously. Everybody takes it very seriously. This is very serious.
Okay, give me another one.
Okay. This one comes with a photograph of Charles Manson.
Okay.
And Helen Thomas is right.
Yes, you can. You do it on your own website.
Fuck you, all you Jews, and fuck Rabbi, fuck shit, Nesenoff and your family. And it's bold, and there it is.
Okay.
Okay. And it's G. DiLorenzo at earthlink.net. And he's sent some other things, And then on the actually where the video is, the YouTube video itself, there are comments you can make. I don't know what we're up to there now, 15,000, maybe 20,000. It just goes on and on. Then there are copycats that put them up, and they also have it. And the language and discussions that go on there. Sometimes we will pull off some. I mean, we're never monitoring all the time. We're so busy. But when we go on there, if we see something that we just offensive, we'll just remove it. But sometimes we want it to stay. Jews have to see what's there. And I think that's a key point with this Helen Thomas thing. Some people say, do you regret showing it? That's a question. Do you regret showing it?
Who asks you that?
The press asks me, do I regret? Because they see that this happens. Do you regret showing it? And it's a valid question because, you do something and now look what happened. I mean, would I rather see or would I rather be blind? I'd rather see.
Have Jews asked you that question?
Jews are an interesting bunch also. We sometimes, are our worst enemy. And we're not as supportive in the way we should be. Some are saying, "Shah still, be quiet." Some say, "Take this off the website." Some say, you know what, you shouldn't have shown it.
Really?
Okay. Shouldn't have shown it
Because why?
Because look, it'll cause trouble. We don't need trouble. Okay. You know, this.
David, I have argued that there is among a portion of American Jewry a deep-seated feeling of uneasiness and vulnerability. That for all the good that the American experience has been for American Jews, and I mean, you talk about Jewish history, there has never been a period as good to Jews as it has been in America. And the dynamic of this social experiment called the United States of America has been perfect for minorities, including Jews. So there's never been a time when it's been better for us as Jewish people to live in a diaspora. And yet there are still American Jews who are worried that Israel will embarrass them and create a backlash against them and their families as American Jews. You seem to be giving us examples of individuals whose comments to you, you shouldn't put it up, why are you making trouble, reflects this attitude that I'm trying to describe.
You know, it reminds me of when Joe Lieberman was running. His wife's name was Hadassah?
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember I gave a sermon called, Did His Wife's Name Have to Be Hadassah? You know, sure, we're very proud that we have this candidate, and we're very proud he's religious and he's Lieberman, you know, don't push it so much, but did her name have to be Hadassah? You know, we want it to a point, and we're embarrassed. We're the richness, we want to throw away the richness and keep the fluff. You'll wind up with nothing.
You know that the new anti-Semitism is veiled as simply anti-Zionism. We're not against Jews, we're only against Israel. What do you say?
The OO changed that also. That argument's done, gone. Case in point. Okay. Oh well, I'm anti-Israel. I'm not anti-Jewish. Okay. Get out of Palestine and go back to Germany and Poland. Okay. We didn't say. You know, the West Bank. We didn't say the Golan Heights. I have a problem with it. We didn't say that. It's get out and go back to Germany and Poland. Right? That argument's over. It's not that if you're anti-Israel, you may be anti-Jewish. It's that you're anti-Jewish, and part of being anti-Jewish is that there's a segment, there's a web page for you, as part of your website of anti-Jewish, of anti-Israel. Okay? That's the subtext of anti-Jewish. If you're anti-Israel, you're already in the website. That's changed. That discussion's over.
We have felt, in general, that the overwhelming majority of Americans have been supportive of Israel, are against anti-Semitism, and are even upset to some degree that the current Obama administration has seemed to be less tight with Israel than prior administrations. That this is not a country that suffers from anti-Semitism, and that although you've gotten 25,000 emails, that it still represents a small portion of the American people.
If you just had the 25,000, if it was 10,000, I'd look at it as too much. So if we're going to start talking a percentage, it's just not even talkable. That's too much. And as far as the administration, there's a big discussion over what is being done now, for Israel. And I've been very patient. I've been a patient Jew, I have to say, for the last year.
In what sense?
In the sense that I believed, that the United States, no matter what, is always a friend of Israel. Okay. You could take anybody in this building, make them president, put them in the White House. They are friend of Israel, okay, and it will always be. It just is good. There's no. It doesn't take so much thinking to realize this is a deep-rooted friend, but everyone does it in their own way. You can't run in, you have to make like you're friends with everybody, you have to be cautious, you have to get the other people together, you have to do all that. And there's strategies. And I'm all for, let me hear your strategy. And I want my president to be diplomatic. I want them to be tactful. Rabbis supposed to be also, but we're not, if you can be a little and whatever. You're home with the people. You can be a little less diplomatic. But I want my president to be diplomatic. I want him to make friends with everybody. I want him to, they'd shake hands. People shake hands. Even Israel, they shake hands with people they don't like. That's what we want him to do. We soldiers, we give guns to. The diplomats, we want them to be tactful. So I don't mind, our leadership, speaking to places and going and doing. That's fine. I'm patient. But that's the before. That's the walking in. That's getting ready. Okay, we're ready. Mm-hmm. Shoin sight. It's time already. Now it's time to do something. Is it the style? Is it that, there's some oil spilling down here, so I take my time. So, okay, maybe that helps me with Israel. He takes his time with that. And okay, maybe that's okay. I don't need to see someone emotional. He didn't cry over the oil spill. I'm defending him. Hey, I don't need to see him cry. Do the business. Businessmen don't cry. Take care of it. Okay? So I'll defend my leaders. People honestly do want to love the people who are running their country. Who wants to live in a country and not like the person who's running? Who wants to not like their congressman? You want to like them. So we give them benefits of doubt and keep going. And the Jew especially. Jews don't like to hate. It's good. It's good. So, but I'll tell you, I'm getting curious. I want to see what happens with my Israel.
I feel you identified what is true about a segment of America, especially a segment of the far left. I think the far left at the moment is very pro-Palestinian and virulently anti-Israel. I don't think it's reflective of mainstream America, not in Congress and not among Americans in general.
Let me ask you then, I've been asking different individuals this because I'm trying to make heads and tails, and I'm speaking on this. The people want me to speak places. They want me to talk. They want to have me come to different things. What is the message? What is the lesson? What am I? If attention is on somebody, you should be able to give a message. So there's attention on this American Jewish rabbi who made this effect, on the world in some sense, and made a statement and made an effect on Israel. What is the message? If you were to write my script and say, okay, this is what I would like you to do with it, and I've asked some different people who I'll tell you about, but here okay. I have.
I understand. I'm flattered you'd ask me, and my sense about you listening to you is you don't need anybody to help you talk. But I'll tell you what excited me enough to invite you right away to come talk to me. Why do I want to meet you? Why do I want to hear the story? Because I believe the Helen Thomas evocation of that O in you, that oo in you. I love your calling it a sound of the shofar. It is, David. Reflects, although a small stream of American thought and world thought, it reflects much more thought outside of America than inside America. It is, as the shofar is meant to be, a call to awareness. That in essence, the American Jew can never become complacent. And the complacency that I worry about is complacency in defense of Israel. And I want people who watch us talk in my own rabbinate. My message is, again, there has never been as wonderful a place in Jewish history as America, but it's not guaranteed, and it always needs vigilance. Vigilance without paranoia, but vigilance nevertheless. And what you did in that quick little, 60-second soundbite, is a reminder to all of us that there still is within even America an insidious anti-Semitism. And it's an anti-Semitism now that threatens the state of Israel. And I believe at the moment what we're seeing is this attempt to delegitimize Israel is the new tactic in among those who want Israel to dissolve. I believe, incidentally, that the world would be just as happy if Jews did what Helen Thomas said. They packed their bags, and one day you'd wake up, Tel Aviv would be vacant. There would be nobody in Jerusalem. Haifa would be empty. The Jews would simply move. We don't need to kill them. We don't need to push them into the sea. But we don't want the Jews to exist as a political, national entity in their own ancient homeland. We don't want Israel to be. Even if we allow Jews to exist, we don't want Israel to be. And what you showed all of the world was a slice of that mentality. You got in there in a way that may have been by accident, but by gosh, when you smelled it, you followed it up. You didn't let it go. And then the next thing you know, you have become now the purveyor of something important for all of us to see. Good for you, David Nesenoff, that you had the instinct and then you were able to follow it up. So what would I have your message be? Again, I don't need to give you a message. I could listen to you all day.
I could say it. I could say the message, but I need the substance I'm gathering now to say it.
Well, then
and
I
hope
it helps you in some way.
Yeah,
and
I like that message very much. It rings true. And you know, it's an interesting thing. Instead of shrying, you know, it's we're a day from the Holocaust. The message is, be aware.
Yes.
There is a stream.
Yes.
I don't know if it's mainstream. And I'll tell you, people are writing me this. Once I put up those nasty things online, that's when people started writing me that, please be aware. We're in America here, love you and love Israel.
Absolutely.
And when I read that, I think, you know, because when you read the other ones, you're like, wow. But when you read that, you realize, look, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And we have to watch it. And we have to be vigilant about it, like you said, and we have to be aware about it.
Well said.
And I like that message a lot. I'll tell you, the last person I asked right before I asked you was Elie Wiesel, he was it was remarkable to speak to him, and he said Yasher Koach first of all. You get a Yasher Koach from Elie Wiesel, and he said there's evil in the world. He told me, you know, and very deep, you know, just that sentence alone. But he said he knew what I was going through was the aftermath of this, and he said, you know, when you start decreasing your courage, you know, that's the time to start increasing your courage. And every time I feel, ooh, you know, I realize that's the time you pick yourself. That means you're supposed to be doing more.
Where would you place yourself on the political spectrum?
You know, in recent years, I would identify myself more in the Democratic Party, even though I'm not a registered Democrat. And it's so interesting how the left wants to vilify me because I went to the White House and filmed somebody for 2 minutes, and I'm looking, and they're saying, "Oh, he's a staunch conservative, and he's a right-wing nut, and and I'm looking, hey. You know, I want to come home. What are you talking about? I was with you guys. I was all for this hope. You know, why are you doing this? You know, and I never knew the whole CNN Fox thing going on. You know, they're all fine. You think a network is going to be one way or the other? You know, not for every show on those networks, but certainly. They're right. There's a difference between the two. And I used to laugh. I would laugh, okay, at the people say fair and balanced. I'm in the middle of a story, okay? And Fox is fair and balanced.
I'm sorry, Fox is
Fox
fair and
is
balanced?
fair and balanced.
No, it isn't.
With
you
this
don't
story,
watch enough Fox.
With this story.
You don't watch enough Fox.
With this story. With my story, when I had me on,
But
I don't know.
I don't know. CNN is not balanced either.
Oh,
okay, but Fox is not fair and balanced.
Listen.
I mean, I can't.
I know. Listen. With my story,
yeah.
Okay, believe me, I know. I watch things. I know where they're leaning. We know where they're leaning. Okay, I understand. I understand fully what it is. But I'm talking about now that I'm in the middle of a story, and I want to see, you know, what's going on. For me. Okay, maybe they have their agenda also, okay? Because, you know, I'm looking at it as I went in there, I did this thing. I didn't do it with an agenda. I didn't do it to hurt anybody. I didn't do anything. I was a reporter for the day. Yes,
but from Fox's perspective, you showed up the left.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But maybe by doing that, now I guess when your side wins or something, you can be fair and balanced.
Of course.
When the other side doesn't.
Well, did they have somebody who took an opposing view to you?
No.
Then what was the balance?
No, I didn't have.
Where was the balance?
What's my view?
Where's the balance?
What's
the balance? Then why do you use the word balance here?
Oh, they use the word balance because they didn't come and try to go ahead and hurt me.
They liked what you did.
I just asked a question.
You beat up on Helen Thomas. You don't get it?
I did. Look, the Jewish Week had under my name career killer. I mean, what is that? Is that how you report on a rabbi going to the White House and asking a question? He's a career killer. People want to sensationalize. Okay, I got it. Look,
That's horrible,
you know,
what they did
but,
to you.
But
It's
that, you know,
horrible.
and
It's so
you know,
horrible.
they do things. They try to find things. So, but again, if one wants to be able to have the attention to give the point, then you're going to have the critic.
Okay, David, at the moment, this again is what you've tapped into. I'm not so worried about an American torrent of anti-Semitism, but I do feel that there is in Europe and in Muslim countries around the world a torrent of anti-Semitism that goes by the name of anti-Zionism. And I still believe that although Israel has a very strong army of its own, David, Israel's still the underdog. Israel is surrounded in a sea of millions of people, Arab and beyond, who want to destroy Israel. And Israel, thank God for its military might, it's been able to, as a David, been able to hold off the Goliaths that want to destroy it.
Well, this David gave, I've been interviewed in Israel and I'll be speaking there. This David gave some advice to Israel. I mean, and I said, I'm not a military person. I don't have the advice on that. You keep doing whatever you're doing, keep improving it and doing it. But I saw the video for the flotilla, okay? And I think there's a new weapon out there that we have to use, and I used it, okay? And that's video. A picture is very important, a moving picture. And you got the right idea with the flotilla, because it helped me see what went on there. It helped me clearly see what went on. But you need to get a little better quality, and you need to get more cameras, and you need to use that as ammunition as well, because we will not win this war just with our fantastic tanks and retrofitted airplanes.
It's not a military war anymore.
Yeah, it is a war in which can be fought, okay, by video. It sounds silly that you mean YouTube can help Israel? Yeah.
You're 100% correct. This is a PR war.
This is what it's about. That's what has to be done. And obviously, if we put down our weapons and just look at our video cameras, we wouldn't last very long. But that is a part of it that has to be done, and we have to constantly be showing the world over and over all these different things and show it. And by the way, our enemies know it and do it.
You talk passionately about the Jewish people's connection to Israel. That even those of us who live in America, anywhere in the diaspora, we still are also at home in Israel. How do you answer the question that's suddenly been raised all over again, the question of dual loyalty of the American Jew?
Yeah, it's a good question. How do you love two people? How do you love your mother and your father? How can we not be so simplistic in our world? How can we not, just be so one-dimensional? You're right. We're complex individuals. We have different loves for different reasons. We have minds and we have souls and we have hearts and we have the capability of loving 10 children if we had 10 children, and we have the capability of feeling a real love on the White House lawn. We walked in the White House, and to be in there, to feel that presence of, wow, I'm in America, I'm in the White House. Okay, and then also to go to the Kotel, to the Western Wall, and say, put your hand on it and go, wow, you're David, look where I am, okay? And I can get that feeling as well. I can go to Masada and I can go to the Grand Canyon and somehow still have that loving feeling. And it could even be a more powerful feeling than when I go to the Eiffel Tower. That's the sight, okay? And for me, for someone else, the Eiffel Tower could be something. But I'm able to have that dual love. This isn't, behind door 1, 2, or 3. We're more complex than that. And I'm happy that we're more complex than that. I wish I had 3 loves, but I have America and Israel.
That is the most wonderful answer I've ever heard to the question of dual loyalty, that we have 2 loves. That was beautifully said, David. David, I'm very impressed with you. I've fallen in love with you in this short time. And I hope you stay around, and I hope there's a way I can help you. And I hope from time to time you'll come and just share your thinking, and you'll join some of our round tables and just share your thought. What is RabbiLive.com?
Well, it originated a while back, a few years ago, as a on and off type of website that I used really to stream services, high holiday services for soldiers in Iraq, Afghanistan, and on aircraft carriers. And then some other people started using it for nursing homes, and then just people who were lazy and didn't want to go to shul, and so we used it at that. And then we'd have interactive where we'd announce so and so you're in Tajid, Iraq, and your mother's saying hello, and so it was really a dynamic piece of tool. And then of course when the holidays weren't there, we didn't use it and didn't have it. We'd once in a while do something with it for Hanukkah at my house. I had Rabbi Live. I had a contest. You can come to the rabbi's house for Hanukkah, and we had it live. But other than that, it was more that way. But I wanted to do, it's very odd. It's very bashert, I'm going to tell you. And I said, I got to do something. I got to figure out what I want to do. I want to do something important. What is it I want to do? I said, I know it has to do with Israel. I know I want to do something with Israel. I don't know what. Then I thought, I know. I guess I'll just go around, as I said before, asking people about Israel. And I thought that was going to be the important thing. Because once I get the raw footage, I'll figure out something to do with it. I got to do something so people will know that Israel is not about bombs. Israel is about beauty. I wanted someone to say, try the falafel, and someone to say, Rabbi Wolpe said something beautiful on the Israel Breathes on my website about someone looked at a piece of pottery and said, this is 2,000 years old. And he said, and then you're touching it for the first time after 2,000 years old, this piece of pottery. And he looked at the camera and he said, that's Israel. And I thought, wow, I got something really good here when he said that. And and other people explain things. And I thought, this is what I'm doing. I know I'm doing something for Israel. Who would have known by me making that conscious effort to say, I'm going to do something for Israel, I'm going to capture people talking about Israel, that I did ask somebody about Israel on the White House lawn, that did capture what she thought about it, and that ultimately really did do something more than a little film for Israel. And it chills me. Because I knew my initial intention was not anything about her, but it was about Israel. And someone just asked me, a reporter said, how do you feel about what happened to Helen Thomas? Are you happy, sad? And I said, I don't have a relationship with her. My relationship is with the Jewish people in Israel. I feel good about that.
I can't thank you enough for this much time. And again, promise me you'll come back.
Well, you do important work here, so God bless you.
Thank you. Kol tuv v'hatzlacha. A real pleasure meeting. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed meeting Rabbi David Nesenoff, founder of RabbiLive.com. And as always, I invite you to be in touch with me with any thoughts or comments you may have to the ideas expressed by David. Please be in touch with me this week. And if you'd like to be in touch with David yourself, you may do so by emailing me, and I'll pass your emails on to him. And so until the next time, I'm Mark Golub. Be well, my friends.
We would be pleased to send a complimentary DVD of this program to anyone who can send a tax-deductible contribution of $36 or more to the nonprofit organization Jewish Education in Media to help support our programming. Tax-deductible checks may be made out to GEM and mailed to GEM, Post Office Box 180, Riverdale Station, Bronx, New York, 10471. Please indicate the program for which you would like a DVD, and we thank you for your kind support.